have a solution. The Whine No Whine Show, where you can be friended and offended all in the same hour, where we gather people from all different walks of life and perspectives, and we talk about everything that everyone has told you not to. Religion, politics, and everything under the sun. Nothing is off limits, and we do it all over a glass of wine. So grab a glass and join us as we save America, one civil conversation at a time.
3, 2, 1, action!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Whine No Whine Show Artist Edition. I'll be your host today, Chris. Brought to you by Text Music and Art, at least. Today we have a great panel of guests, artists, and musicians. We are talking about marriage and the root cause of its decline. We want your comments, so be sure to comment on the feed. Give us your thoughts. I'm going to go through our guests here and let them introduce themselves. We have a pretty good. Pretty good. Let me try that again. Okay, so look. Shake that off. I have a great panel here of artists, and then I have photographers, and then I have sculptors, and I have musicians, and so I'm going to let them introduce themselves. I'm going to start on this side with Alex, and go ahead and tell them what you do and where to find you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks again for having me out.
No problem,
Great
bud.
to be here.
Welcome,
Whine No Whine Show.
Thank you.
My name is Alexander Van Fleet. I'm a photographer for about 15 years now, but mainly today I'm coming in because I brought in some of my portraiture.
I know it's all
some of my
the wine, I'm telling you.
some of my pastings. Sorry,
which are amazing.
Yeah,
they really can't wait for me to see them.
I brought in some of my paintings today. It's really hard for me to say I'm a photographer anymore. Like, I started out as photography. Everything starts with me from the camera, but it's what it goes from there.
Where do we find your work at?
Right now, everyone can find me at AVF Images. That's AVF.
I like
that. I work a lot with the deaf community, and I'm trying to learn sign,
cool.
But
I learned 2 years in high school.
I'm hearing damage myself, but anyways, you can find me at AVF Images on Instagram, AVF My Life on Snapchat, F My Life,
Yeah.
and AVF Images on Facebook as well, and then facebook.com/AVF Images. I am also in the midst of launching a lot of companies, including the personal clothing line.
Awesome.
And also doing printing for artists as well, getting custom prints done for artists.
Good. I
need
you.
bunch of us do.
I need you. Your work is so beautiful from what I've seen, and you're in like everyone on this panel.
George, you want to
so
introduce yourself?
I do.
Thank you.
I'm Joy.
We're gonna get to the topic here. Let them know.
I'm Joy Beckler, Beckler. Sometimes -WREN because it's still there. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing. Oh God, I am challenged technology, so I don't have a good place yet, which is why I need people like you to get all of my stuff together. I've done my 10,000 hours. I have a shit ton. Oops, sorry.
We're starting early.
We don't have
what do you do? Are you an artist?
Yes, and I draw live. I'm scrappy. I can use anything, everything.
I've seen your work.
I belong to a group called Sketchins in Houston. I love the artist community. It keeps me alive, but it's time for me to get to the next level, and that's part of connecting with people like you guys.
Networking and doing the thing. I love doing it all the time. John, man, tell us about Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan Dow. Jonathan Dow. I'm a sculptor. I make money trees, bonsai tree style with actual shredded money.
Me and him would do
a
shows
few people
together.
have some. Actually,
I get one.
There's 3 in here.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
And you can find me at dowmoneytrees.com or dowmoneytrees.com and also at dowmoneytrees.
You're a photographer as well?
Yes, also a photographer, incorporating all that with bonsais and things like that. So yeah. Bonsai.
Anna Karina?
Hey guys, my name is Anna Karina. I'm a pop rock singer-songwriter from the Woodlands, Texas. I have music available on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, pretty much any streaming site. just look up Anna Carina, ANACARINA. And then for social media, I have Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and Snapchat. And my username is Anna Carina Acuna, which is the first name I spelled, and then Acuna, ACUNA, and that's also my website, annacarinaacuna.com.
You've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. And so, and about halfway through, we're gonna show all these wonderful artist talents and she's gonna play for us. So be sure you stick around through. Again, we're talking about marriage and the root cause of its decline. So what I'm going to do real quick here is I'm going to have everybody kind of state their stance on why it's in decline. And actually I'm going to start with Anna Carina over here.
Okay.
So the root cause of why you think marriage is in decline.
Okay, so I believe that the reason marriage is in decline is for the same reason that, like, being in a committed relationship is in decline. I think people nowadays are more fluid and they want to be more independent throughout their life. They don't want to be tied down. And I also think it could have something to do with that people who are coming up to marriage age, or what used to be determined as marriage age, because people are living longer, like people's lifespans are longer. A lot of them had parents who got divorced, so they don't want to, like, so after living through that, they don't want to make the same mistakes.
All right. Good point. I love it. John. Why is it on the... Yeah, you
That
gonna
was
follow
good.
that? You're good.
That was really good.
It's not every day you get an awesome
What you
guest.
said
I'm
was-
just kidding.
I can
Spot
concur.
on,
No,
though.
that's not the point.
And,
I'm gonna go with let's see, marriage in decline. Well, it's the leading cause of divorce is one.
It's the marriage? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
marriage.
yeah.
But then also the temptation out there. There's a lot more temptation with technology and internet and porn and robots and whatever other things you
I've seen
can
those.
do by
We had a
yourself.
whole
Whatever
show
else
on
you can
that.
do by yourself.
No
Couple
cure
of,
for diabetes,
yeah.
but they have some banging sex robots coming out.
Exactly. So there's lots.
They can even do like a whole
Fun
dance.
games.
They have like a whole dance too that they can.
No, they.
We're
they
gonna
do-
go. We're gonna go to
sorry.
your topic real quick before
Okay.
we jump into the topic. What's your stance on why marriage is in
So
decline?
I'm going completely old school on this. You know, love is the root of the opposite of fear. It's what we desire in life, and the human connection part of that has been lost in all of our roles. And I think that the female role got so thrown one way when we were trying to do everything, and we were proving, you know, to everyone that we can have a job and have kids, and I've lived this and I've done this and I've missed out on too much. And I didn't want to do this. You know, I looked at my parents and they're super old school, and I wanted, you know, whatever. But that came out wrong.
No, you're right.
I value
You wanted the
that,
same thing.
but I was pushing to show that I could even do more, that I could do it all. And you can't. You need the support of the man to be there for you in a lot of ways that I think has been lost. And the female has also been a bit of a bitch and not really supported the man in a way that a man needs to be supported. Some of that old school stuff could come back, and it would be a whole lot lovelier and nicer.
I think we're gonna have a good
It's like
discussion here
finding
today.
the balance.
What about you?
I'm laughing because you actually reminded me of George Carlin used to say, men are dumb and women are crazy, but most women are crazy because men are dumb.
That's very good.
And, you know, that's kind of how, like, relationships are portrayed a lot nowadays, and, you know, of, like, and I think something that we haven't really mentioned is, like, the changing roles of gender roles in society, and how people are starting to look at gender a little differently. Well, just gender in general, like, has become kind of a
Gray area.
such
Yeah.
a diverse topic
Well,
of,
yeah.
like,
That's true.
We had a
am
show
I
about that
defined by
too.
what's in my head and what's between my legs? But anyways, also, I mean, I think people are becoming a little more open-minded to, like, relationships being more like polyamorous instead of monogamous relationships, and people are more becoming more open-minded, because we have to remember we're in a very changing time of, like, gay marriage was just legalized how many years ago? And so, like, 100 years from now, we're gonna look back and it's gonna be like, wow, we were so primitive-minded. But I've personally been poly for like a year and a half, and I believe in, like, open relationships leading to a closed monogamous relationship instead of the other way around, which I see a lot of people do that. and also personally from spending time overseas, especially in Israel, the idea of being more lots of loving platonic relationships and like not based on like physical attraction but emotional attraction, and really getting like a deeper connection than just, you know,
Interesting.
you're mine and I'm yours.
This is
And
gonna
it's
be
all
a
I was
about
not
possession.
expecting all that at all, and now I want to know more.
You know what I mean? Of
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know exactly what
they
you mean,
say
yeah.
like if you love
'Cause at
something,
first
it's
I
like
was
if you
like,
love a
this is-
flower, don't pick it. If you know, because then you change what it is. It's like if you really love something and it's meant to be, it'll stay. And
Right.
like too many people try and force it into like, oh, you can't even look at her. It's like, I was just looking in the wrong direction. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's all about
I
possession
don't know.
and
What
control.
about? I mean, the internet these days. You guys can see that you can just get on the internet and see everybody's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean,
So what are the limitations? And
Well,
how
that
does
is
that
also
work?
like you mentioned technology and just accessibility is like
Right.
my parents never had to deal with Tinder and like Plenty of Fish or all of
All
those
those
dating.
apps.
Right.
My mom was trying to get me to like set up a Match.com for her. Like
Right.
that's such an awkward conversation.
Right. And there's a lot of those, right? The technology.
There's a lot.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of time spent, not in this reality, but this other reality.
Well, yeah, I've been
Technology.
saying for a while that the internet is becoming the new reality because these kids grew up with it. So that's how they see you. They don't no longer see. Nobody sees you for you in front of you anymore. They see you for that profile. They will see it every day. So
Until you get
I mean-
in front of them.
yeah, but I mean, it comes right back to what you were saying, and what you were saying too, because nobody has all your parents are getting divorced
Yeah.
right now. I mean,
Mhm.
all like I think mine are probably the only ones of my friends that are left.
Mine are
Right.
Yeah, I do have like
Right.
one or two
Yeah,
friends where their
mine.
parents stuck
Yeah,
together.
my,
I'm always
my
like,
parents are
"Oh,
together,
one
and
day,
like people
one
are like,
day."
your parents are still
Right,
together.
Oh,
right.
my parents are together and they rock. They're in their 80s and they travel and they're amazing and they're on Facebook and they reach out and they accept all these things. I just am, you know, so I'm gonna listen to what they have to say too.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah, my grandparents lasted 61 years. That's a
That's a
long time.
Those in
Into
30s,
the 90s.
huh?
Yeah. So.
But they're changing times too, and you
But
gotta listen to that too.
It's
I kinda-
hard to see that.
In hindsight, my parents should have split up a long time before they did. They stayed together for me and my sister. Like waited till I got through high school. But it was so difficult even at like 18. Like
Oh,
Dealing with
slide your
everybody.
chair up for me, boss man.
Sorry.
You alright?
Yeah, it was like still difficult losing the family. But like you mentioned, is like our generation has so many examples of broken relationships or broken marriages. Of like, I've seen my dad go through, you know, his stuff in his marriages, and like my mom and like her post marriage stuff, and you know, just relationships in general have changed. And I think we have this expectation with our generation of like it's gonna fail anyways.
Yeah.
So like
Well,
why
yeah, I
even
think
try?
some people,
Sad.
there are
That's
some
so
people who are
sad.
afraid of commitment. I do think that's a thing too. It's like some people just don't want to, like, not just with marriage, but even like a relationship. You know, somebody
Why?
will be talking to somebody and they won't commit to a relationship, but they'll say like, you know, they still feel like they have some kind of ownership, or that, you know, you're together but you're not together. You don't want to tell people you're together.
Is it
But that's
fear?
like a
Right.
totally a thing though.
Is
I
it
think
fear
it's-
or
Well,
is
it's
that
not.
stem
Nobody
from
wants
now?
a
I mean,
commitment.
what is
Yeah,
that?
nobody
what
wants
is
a
that?
commitment in case
Well,
like
'cause
something
you
is
never,
easy?
well, no,
Is
you,
it-
you
is
never
it-
know who you're
Once-
gonna meet next door, or I mean not next door, but
Yeah.
like next
Maybe.
Yeah, no.
next day.
Ah, understand.
Nobody wants to commit.
Yeah. Right.
I see your point on that, but then like what you're saying is there's a bunch of people out there trying to commit, and then there's a bunch of people out there getting burned, and like I
No,
can
yeah, I agree.
so
So
like
you get
that's
bitter and you
yeah,
have a
yeah, I
choice
mean,
of
I've-
staying
I
that
almost
way and
was
making it
married,
easy
yeah, I
for
paid for a whole wedding, you know, geez, man.
Yeah.
A month out.
easy to be bitter.
Yeah, I was way bitter for like years.
Doesn't feel good though.
Well-
but I was right there with you over there polyamorous.
Well, like I said, that actually
Right.
resulted as being burnt too many times.
Yeah.
I had so many controlling monogamous relationships, like that I said were all about like possession and control, and you know, you can't look at this person, you can't look at that person. You like, I'm a photographer that works with some very, very beautiful women, some very talented artists, that's brought a lot of jealousy and personal turmoil in my life. But luckily, like through maturity, have opened me up to being more loving and working more on the connection than more on the physical. Because I've also been burnt that way of like having relationships that are too physical. Like, you know, they talk about the hookup culture in like America right now is like it leaves you broken and empty, and that's what it did to me. And then it got to the point that I had to seek a different kind of connection with somebody. And I tell anyone that I date now is like I'm broken. Like I've been broken because of like a sick, I'd hate to say it, but male mentality of like what a relationship looks like.
The media
So
comes back to the media.
How are you trying to fix that then? If you're broken, then what are you doing in order to be whole?
Platonic relationships. Just
And that works for you. That's
helped
you.
it's been the best thing for me. I mean,
So catching your old patterns and
I don't think I've mentioned this. So I got out of the hospital about 3 months ago. Quit cigarettes, quit porn, no fap, like, you know, quit all meat, all dairy, anything sugars, like straight plant-based keto, and it's been the best decision of my life. And one of the main things was cutting out, you know, that sexually addictive behavior. You know, a lot of people don't really talk about it in our society, but there's a huge problem with, you know,
Instant gratification.
addiction in general,
Right.
but, you know, it's sexually addictive behavior. And it's addressing what an addiction looks like. You know, everybody wants to talk about the opiate addiction, but nobody wants to talk about sex addiction.
It really is a thing. I completely agree. But do you think that that's the media doing that, or do you think that that's the access to the internet? I mean, because you can see. I mean, one tit is still.
I think it's a cultural
PG-13,
thing.
right? Is that
I think it's a cultural thing. Because if you go
committed-
overseas, it's totally different. You know, you look at Europe or Asia,
Right.
it's like
Girls.
media
Violence,
content
right.
control. Like, you know, like when I was overseas, like it was a lot more difficult to access that type of adult content on the internet.
Right. Okay, yeah, but they're
it's
not. The divorce rate probably isn't as high over there. I wouldn't guess.
Exactly. It'd be
But they're
interesting to
are they
compare like
polymarriages?
American marriage divorce rates versus international divorce rates.
Do you think poly's the way to fix it?
Well, I was gonna say that I think there's a big misconception around what a healthy relationship is and an unhealthy relationship is, because an ideal relationship is two people who already know their own worth and love themselves, and they're not you don't need somebody who is gonna
That's a big
lift
thing
you
these
up.
days,
You don't
yeah.
need because that's just an addiction. Like being in a relationship,
whatever it is.
it's an external thing that makes you feel like you're not worthy. So it's an external thing you're reaching for to lift you back up.
Fill
But
it.
that's not how
Right.
you fix it. That's shopping
The
to fill the
Band-Aid.
hole,
Yeah.
overeating to fill the hole, like any addiction.
Shopping is
So-
cheaper than a therapist.
But a healthy
Sometimes.
relationship
I would disagree with that.
is acknowledging
Depends on what
Bought a
you're
Jeep once.
acknowledging your own worth.
Yes.
And then looking for somebody else who acknowledges their own worth, and then you both just
You're both
lift
better
each other
people.
up and
Right.
You're a better
encourage each
person.
other, but you don't need
Right.
them. You're
It's
not
a want. I want to
clutch
help you,
on.
and you want to help me.
Yeah.
Instead of
Great.
Right.
clinkable
Right.
moment. I
Yeah.
think that's what we call it. I got it right that time.
No. Well said.
I normally say a terrible point.
So it's
John,
interesting how
what-
the girls and guys are thinking differently on this subject.
Yeah. Well, I will say about I think it's the American dream kind of marriage thing.
But
you
what
go
do
to
you
school,
want? What would you
go
like to see? What looks fantastic to you? What would a
Well,
relationship
that's not the topic today.
Come on.
We're talking about marriage.
If we're gonna,
I was
if
not
marriage
laughing.
is
Me?
That's a
marriage
good
is on
point.
the
How
decline,
would you fix it?
and you would put your ideal.
I like to.
How would you better? How would, as a business person, how would you make that increase? Okay, we need to make marriages do better. So what do we have to do in order to be more efficient and make it, go on the rise? What would that look like?
All right. Well, I will say this is what's the word marriage? Marriage is actually like a contract. That's what we understand
It's
marriage.
religious.
Then maybe that's
And
part
it's
of
a
the
religious
problem.
It's a
thing.
religious
So
term that's
there's
been
a-
taken by
there's
the
a-
government
We
to
go
charge
right back
you.
into that.
Sorry.
True.
So
Yeah.
that is what it is. So marriage is actually if you just like somebody. You know, if you like hanging out with somebody, that is a marriage. That is a binding of hanging out and stuff like that. So I mean,
I gotta say, is sex come into that, or?
Good.
Well, maybe sometimes.
Okay.
It better.
I don't know.
Kind of both.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
That's a huge component.
of course. I mean, to be with somebody, you have to be attracted to somebody, and
Yeah,
so
but when
I
you-
mean, that's.
But do you have
Do you have to have
one
a
or more,
ball
or
and
did
chain,
you-
or
no,
what?
yeah,
I mean,
so you don't have one?
multiples?
Is that a ball and chain? That's what I'm asking. Like, because to
Well,
me, a
certain people
relationship
like-
shouldn't be a ball and chain. It should be like two
Mutual.
wings, right?
What?
Two wings
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
good thing. I like that. Is that one of the
Yeah.
clinkable
Two
things?
wings.
Is
I
that a
like that.
clinkable?
Yeah.
Let's do
thing?
it. Let's do
Uh-huh.
it. We have
That's
it.
a clinkable.
Cheers.
Is clinkable the right word?
Yeah,
Okay,
clinkable.
yeah, the topic today
Cheers.
is
Clinkable.
marriage is on the decline. What is the root cause? And we're talking about kind of some fixes here, but have people comment. We're gonna have y'all comment. Sorry,
Let us
I'm
know what
reading
you
a
think.
teleprompter here. Please comment what you guys think. How can we? Or why is it on the decline? Give us something else that we can talk about here and change this thing. I'm gonna have a commercial break. I'm sorry, and it's we're gonna come back and have the top comments on the screen. So make sure you put your comments in now. My production team is gonna pick the best one, and we're gonna go to quick commercial break. And then right after that, we're gonna get into some music and art.
Yay!
So I'll
Ching.
be right back.
Do you suffer from chronic back pain? There is a solution to the suffering. The Body Mechanics, an orthopedic and medical massage focused practice that specializes in helping clients work through and overcome musculoskeletal injuries and chronic pain. By applying our science-based concepts through the art of massage therapy techniques, we can help you eliminate that pain. At The Body Mechanics, we take it as our responsibility to provide our clients with the highest level of care. We take time to get to know you, your history, and your obstacles, and most importantly, your wellness goals. We help you meet your goals through skillfully applied advanced massage therapy techniques and recommending self-care routines to improve overall well-being. Come in today and let the Body Mechanics apply our years of training and expertise to soothe away your aches. Mention this ad and receive our functional movement assessment for free, a $35 savings.
Chris. I'm Chris, but Harley hosts the artist edition of the Whine No Whine Show all the time. Welcome back, y'all. So I'm gonna read some comments real quick as soon as I pull them up on the screen, and we're gonna talking about marriage and the root cause of its decline. We talked about the fact that all of our parents, all the younger generation's parents, are getting divorced. We talked about the ease to access to, those other outlets to that would, I guess, it would stop the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, distractions is a great word. We talked about how there's the male role has faded, and that maybe it's the woman's fault. That's kind of so silly. But and then we talked about the commitment and getting burned, and why we can have those relationships with more people than just the one, and then end up in something.
Well,
one.
I think I was just more saying, like...
What do you guys have to say? As soon as someone pulls up a comment, I'll read one. Kind of stalling. But maybe we should talk about a little art real quick.
That's fine.
All right. So we'll talk about some art, and then we'll get right to your comments. I appreciate you guys staying with us with those comments. Go ahead, Alex. Tell me about your art, why you do it, where to find it.
Well, the art I've specifically brought in today is some stuff that I did a couple years back when I was really going through a very hard time, very
Were you able to
personal
pull that on the screen as well?
depression.
It's on the screen.
Okay, cool. Which one's on the screen?
He has 4 pieces.
Oh, they're all on the screen. So all your pieces are on the screen right now.
All 4 pieces?
Yes.
Okay, so these are all pieces done within the past 3 years. I started off photography really young, and I've always had depression. I've been diagnosed with major depressive disorder. I've had suicide attempts in my past. I feel like a lot of artists are broken people, but that's also how we get great work.
Their pain comes
And
isn't it?
I try to be a really loving person. I try and give out as much loving and positive energy as I can, but at the same time, I had to do something with that dark energy. And usually it either goes into music or my art. And there's a reason my art is so dark, is because that's the only way I knew how to channel that stuff. I had to get rid of it. And
That's the reason mine's so light.
I have to say this, I love Frida Kahlo for her work because it's so brutal, it's so raw, and that's what I kind of wanted to do with my work. I do a variety of work, but the stuff I brought in today was about...
Sorry.
You do?
I couldn't
Anyways,
help
but for me, this was just like a dream of mine is to get my work on the clothing as well.
I
and,
actually bought one of his shirts today, so I'm all about it.
I've got a couple different
I'll buy one.
designs.
They're all on the screen.
They're all on,
Yeah, they're all on the screen.
You got
room,
chick shirts?
all of them.
Hey, where do we get them?
Yeah.
Right now we're in the process of setting up a shop. The printing company that I'm starting is going to be called Pleasant Street Printing, and then Pleasant Street Vending. Odd Child Design is my design company. AVF Images right now is my photography and everything that you can find me at right now. Right now it's just personal orders, Instagram, Facebook, AVF Images.
Alexander Van Fleet.
I've been at this again, like I said, 3
Yeah.
months. I just got out of the hospital, changed my life, and got back into like trying to live again. And
Yeah.
so that's what this is about, is like,
Creating.
you know,
Not to let that
Rebirth.
happen.
and
Got
yeah,
a Phoenix
so
right here, so I love it, yeah.
definitely please give me a check out, give me a follow, give me a like, give me a
Dude,
share,
He's
give
at
me
a bunch of
something.
events too.
Give me your hate even, I don't care.
Doesn't
But
matter.
anyways, yeah, thank you.
No problem, dude. Thanks for coming on.
Why do I do what I do? You know, we have this conversation sometimes at discussions where I go to on Wednesday nights because, this place is like walking into what I feel like the Impressionists must have felt like when you open the doors, you know, and you see all your artist friends, and we're all so different, and there's no judgment, and it doesn't matter how long you've been there or not
That's why
been
I love
there.
this community.
And the collaborations, and I brought a collaboration piece because I wanted to share that so much.
It's
because
on the screen, I believe.
it's not about so much sometimes the individual. It's I've learned more from them in that acceptance and in the collaboration. What history book do you see in art that has art collaborations? Why not? That is this change that I just am so desperate to see, because we do our 10,000 hours, and
That's
we're
why
so
I created
good.
a company.
I could
Sorry.
dive into
I
your
love it.
stuff. I've dived into your stuff.
Yeah, I love
You
fun.
know, I mean, it's just like that is what makes it so rich, and I love the community. That's why I do it. I've got a day job, and I've got life, and I'm so fucking sorry. I did it.
Oh,
Ding,
this bomb.
ding, 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 ding,
This
ding, ding,
bomb
ding,
was
ding,
brought to
ding.
you by Joy.
I won't do it.
You guys need like a theme song.
Right? And when the
was
music comes
more-
up.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's great. The comments
Now-
are ready. They're gonna pull them up
Um,
for me as soon as
All right, so
get there.
quick.
So whenever
So
you're done, I'm
you
sorry.
can
I'm
find me
rushing.
on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. I'll give you my phone number. I'm there. I just don't. I don't
That's
know how to
great.
transfer what I do
Some of you.
into what you guys want. If I could figure out something different, because we're all trying to sell stuff, and it's like, what do people want? How do we make that connection to people that are buying in their house, and stop buying from designers at astronomical rates when there's all these local
Or-
artists
yeah.
sitting here?
Going to Walmart.
Oh my God, you just silly people. Just connect. How do we make that connection? So that's my.
So we have web shows. That's how.
Yeah. Yes.
Why-
Thank
why
you.
Thank you,
not?
Joe. Thank you, Joe.
All right,
for
those
having
comments, whenever they hit the screen, I'm going to
Whine.
read some.
I'm showing my
And
age
us.
big time. Oh.
Dina
There you
Cannon says,
Uh-huh.
marriage is scary due to apps replacing traditional meeting of people.
Ah,
Like that
good one.
goes right back into what I was saying, that the real world now is online. I mean, it's more real there than it is here. I mean, not saying that I believe that, but that's what
Ew.
is happening. Laura Kristen Powell, thank you for tuning in. She says, I'm glad varying opinions are being presented and respected. That's the point of the show. That is exactly the point of the
She's
show.
an
Thank
awesome
you for
person.
tuning in. I really appreciate that. And hopefully you tuned in for Joy. That's why we have
Marriage should
people
be
here.
the heart, not the
She's
paper.
awesome. She writes about my art.
Oh,
She will just
Yeah.
do this amazing wording that just captures what I can't even say, what I can't even
Yeah,
comprehend.
writing
She's
and
awesome.
reading have never been my strong points. I can
Mm-mm,
tell you
me
that.
neither. You see?
Visual.
The next comment, please.
That's it.
Lord Christmas.
No, that's what we just read.
Did we go
Oh
to
wait,
the
no,
rest
you
of
didn't read that one.
I thought it
Vincent!
Vincent
Are y'all
Fink, thank you for
drinking
tuning in.
wine
I
out of
love
the
you.
box?
Says, are y'all drinking wine out of a box?
Yep, we are. Two
dude,
boxes.
This is the artist edition.
Two
I
boxes.
just gotta put that out there. Tomorrow, if you tune into the Friday edition, you'll see some very elegant wines.
Artists
and
don't get that.
They will be rating the wine, and if you're into wine, you have to watch the tomorrow.
I was expecting,
Right.
but that works for me.
Well, that's what Jay does. Yeah.
Hey man, we're paying for
Well,
it.
that's what Jay does on the Instagram.
I'm paying for it actually. Let me put it like that.
Well, Joy, that's what Joy breaks out on the Instagram live. Right?
Yeah,
So
tomorrow.
after
No, tonight. After this too.
after
The Instagram
this,
tonight.
right?
Yeah.
So
Hopefully
then
we'll hear
that's
another
where
one of your
the-
songs then.
I can't
Yes.
wait to. So.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna let you talk about your art and while it's on screen, and I'm gonna have you grab your guitar real quick.
Okay,
And
right now?
yeah, and then just kind of he'll grab it and
Drink some
but
water.
yeah, whenever he gets back, you can start tuning. Okay. Go ahead.
My art.
Yeah, your art. Why do you do it?
so-
What's the cause? What's the effect? Come on now. I know you
Well,
got. I know you
Oh,
got
wait, I
a
look
thing
like
here.
it.
Come
I
on,
got
let me
got
hear
a
it.
thing.
Let me
Let
hear
me
it.
try to change it. Hold on.
I'll heal him along.
I just
Sorry.
like money does grow on trees, so that's kind of my art. That's
What's the
that
next?
that.
But you get the
That's
money
saying,
from the
that's
place,
saying.
right? You get it
Yeah,
from,
so
from the.
yes, I make.
It's on screen now.
sculptures.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so I make sculptures out of shredded money from the Federal Reserve that was old, they say, old and taken out of circulation and shredded up and
But if you've ever
usually
been there
thrown
and
away.
seen it, that's really cool
Cool.
what you got, and
Totally. I mean, yeah, I got a lot
It
of
is
it. I
really
got too
cool.
much of it,
How much-
actually. You need to buy them. I need more.
You made them.
and they bring
So-
you money. They do bring you money. I bought one.
They're definitely good luck.
They are.
So it's a
well,
money
the,
series.
the goal. With
It's got a hemp.
Yeah, I mean, well, so so art. You know, there's people.
Thank you.
There's people that make art because of past and heart, you know, and stuff like that. Mine's more educational and also hopefully future, like inspiring,
Yeah.
and also a symbol of prosperity.
Yes.
And so, like, I do have hemp. I'm a big fan of hemp. I think hemp is the future. I think hemp is the next money tree. Hence, down money trees.
Yep.
So money does grow on trees.
Not-
we just need to legalize it.
Not
and
weed. Hemp.
Start growing it.
Two
Yeah,
different things if you don't know
totally.
that. Yeah.
You can't get high on hemp.
Well,
That's the.
You can use it for a lot of things.
I would argue
Yeah.
that that's one of the really beautiful things of your work is that, like, why is stuff like cannabis and hemp so illegal? Is it like a money issue? Is it like,
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
whole
oh,
nother
sure.
show.
but anyways, your work is really beautiful, man,
Thank
and
you.
I want to just compliment you on just how beautiful your pieces look, and they really, at first glance, look like natural bonsai trees,
Yes.
and you
Many
wouldn't
people
tell that
come
it's
Yeah.
like man-made, and that's
Thank
kind of the beauty of
And
it.
they're flexible.
Yeah, and yeah, they blow in the wind. I mean, they've ridden in the back of a truck blowing 70 miles an hour and just
I've seen it. It was funny.
money just flapping in the wind. It's kind of, you know.
It was
there's
going out
there's
to
a lot
our
of
market.
Yeah.
Market, you know.
That's-
You got it.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Alex.
Anna Karina, where do we
Yeah,
find
really
you? Right,
sure
Down Money
Oh,
Trees.
Down Money Trees. You can't miss it.
Oh, there it is, right there. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Not a pot leaf.
Y'all are
It's a hemp leaf.
advertising
Hemp
yourselves.
leaf.
So smart.
Anna Karina.
I need a Joy shirt.
I'm not singing.
No, you're
I was
totally
gonna
good.
say-
Oh, you
Go
know.
ahead.
Sing her name.
Sing whatever you want.
I'm gonna drink
What are you
some
gonna play
wine.
for us? And
Okay.
how do we find it? Is it new or it's original?
So last time I was on, I played an unreleased song, and it's still unreleased, but it's coming out in the summer. And then this time I'm gonna be playing another unreleased song.
That's right. First looks on the
on
Whine
our
No Whine
it's
Show
on
Artist
our
Edition,
YouTube channel.
and it's her other song is definitely on the YouTube channel. So go ahead and check out that because we have a bunch of cutouts of some amazing performances over there. And that's not on Facebook. So make sure you subscribe too. You know, hook us up. Get some water in. We're about to hear some amazing music. I've heard her before. It is quite amazing.
Thank you.
No problem.
This song might be kind of ironic because it is a bit of a slower and a tad bit of a love song.
Marriage.
Perfect topic.
Is it about
That's
marriage?
what I mean. We'll see.
That's funny.
Emotions work so strangely. Won't show but feels drive us wild. Come stand a little closer to me, bravely. Been watching you for a while now, and life is full of forever. Say it, just find one that's better when you reach an end. If we don't make it through the weather, at least we had our forever, and we can still be friends. I'm spending all my time thinking about you lately, caught up in your expressive style. And when I'm lost, you're my home, shield a rock, you're my stone. And you spin me around and put me back on my feet. But life is full of forever. Say it, just find one that's better when you reach an end. If we don't make it through the weather, at least we had our forever, and we can still be friends. I don't know what I'd do without you. No one else quite knows me the way that you do. Wouldn't mind hanging around with you, maybe for the rest of my life. 'Cause life is full of forevers, but this is one forever. I can't bear to end. If one of your forevers really lasts forever, I'm hoping this is it.
That was
Uh,
amazing. Yes, amazing.
You made me cry.
Yeah, go watch your other songs
Thank you.
too. Oh my goodness.
Again, that's
It
unreleased.
was just
That was
perfect.
beautiful.
It was the perfect words.
Thank
it was
you.
perfect. Lovely.
I'm
The
mesmerized.
Whine Whine Show. I love it. Artist edition. All right, guys. So we're talking about marriage and the root cause of its decline. And yeah, we'll cheers all around. Oh, you're almost out there,
Thank
bud.
you.
Sorry. You got water over there.
Yeah, I do.
Well, I had something, but it's gone now.
You're good, bud. You're good. Oh,
I was thirsty.
so
Alcohol is dehydrating. So
it is, and it gets warm in here after 7. I'm not gonna lie.
After that song, yeah.
But so we're talking about marriage and the root cause of its decline. I mean, we haven't brought up that religion has faded as well. You know, people aren't religious, and that's in a religious event. Or I mean, and then the government has got lots of hands in everything, and marriage is one of them. So everyone's kind of boycotting the government, boycotting religion. Do you think that has to play into that, or?
I didn't really think about it until you said something, but you said something earlier, and because to me, marriage isn't a religious thing. Marriage is something that is just a simply commitment. But you're right, because
I mean,
because
that's
all the
right back to the Bible.
all the things that happen after your marriage, as far as insurance and blah
The
blah
priest
blah,
does
all
it
the
for
money
them.
stuff, the
Yeah.
money trail,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
the
yeah.
government and those aspects, and what you were saying, how that is getting to be a grayer and grayer area,
Right.
kind of needs to just it.
You
I don't know.
everybody knows my opinion on it. If you've seen this show, get the heck out of here, government.
That could be interfering with the ability to connect.
I mean, I think it does have its play. What do you think, John?
Well, the government definitely has its hand in it because, I mean, it's a tax benefit.
They might be the only ones.
It's a tax
They
benefit.
might be.
It's a
yeah,
tax
so
benefit.
that's
So,
exactly
I
where I was
mean,
gonna go
that's
with
the
that.
number one reason
Maybe
they
the
get married.
one reason they're
That's why
actually.
people
perpetuating marriage,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's cheaper to get a house and
Oh, yeah.
buy things
You get
if you're
insurance.
married.
couple
Very
$1,000
good.
back a
There's-
year. You know?
There's very
Piece of paper.
logistics of those things are
Right.
they
It's a
come into
contract.
play,
It's a
and then you
contract.
end up in.
You
making-
kind of
Yeah,
actually need to
yeah,
have
so
marriage
what-
to have that. What you have talking about is that support thing, because if somebody's back home, because like I see what you're saying, but I kind of want to flip the role, because like, what if it was somebody that was a girl that was very outgoing and in charge, and there was a guy that was at home, you know?
So be it.
Mr. Mom.
Everybody hates slut shaming, but everybody's favorite word is fuck boy.
Another bomb.
But yeah, you guys need like a
You
song or
deserve
something.
Well, there you go.
You put it on the floor right here.
That was recorded. Now that will be the
Yeah,
new
just-
word
just
song.
play me
Yeah,
back
word
every
song.
time.
Yeah,
That's
so-
song.
Does it
Brought
count
to you
if
by
it's a
us.
conjoined
You
word
should
like
do
that?
that.
Yes.
So yeah, you only have one per show. I love it.
I used
Yeah.
it.
That's
We're
PG-13.
well
though.
worthwhile.
13.
All right,
There's good
look.
kids watching.
But do you have an opinion on? Do you think that you know the
marriage.
government and religion? Do you think that has an effect on what's going on with marriage, or do you think it's mostly because of the?
Well, I think it's kind of interesting because, like, I think that marriage exists in the first place because of religion.
Right.
True.
I mean,
Because it's like a spiritual bond. You know, it's like be married is to make sacred of your relationship.
we can't even
You
say
don't mess with
So-
that.
we can't even say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore in school because it has the word God in it, right? Like
Yeah, that's just silly.
I mean, you guys want to remove that from school? Why don't we remove marriage from government?
I don't know that it necessarily has a huge.
Mhm.
I don't know. It's not to me, so it's hard to speak to. So I'm probably gonna shut up because it's not.
I don't. That's not the point of the show.
No whining about it. Shut it
Wait,
up.
wait,
But it-
but
Whine.
oh no, go ahead.
No,
Finish.
but do you see what I'm saying? It's not something that I think about as a component in if a relationship works or not.
I have an interesting idea to propose. Actually, that
Bring
kind
it.
of pertains to that. So, like, although less people are getting married, that doesn't necessarily mean, and like being in a relationship, that doesn't necessarily mean that majority of people don't like
Stay
gravitate to
They
a
don't want it.
monogamous relationship.
Right.
You know, like still being committed, but not putting a label on it. Same with religion,
Bingo.
putting a label on it. You know, like.
Everybody is going away from labels. big
Because it's
time.
like,
So,
do you actually have to say you're in a
it's not
relationship
a fair
or that you're
statistic.
married for the relationship to have meaning? You know, like if you.
the government's going
feel
to call
like-
you married after 7 years. That's common.
Common law,
Right.
at least in
Well,
Texas.
well, and here's the thing.
But
like,
you're right. The
hold on,
statistic
hold on.
isn't
Right.
right. The statistic doesn't exist. Sorry.
I think
Go
so.
on.
It might be wrong. I don't know.
This is such a good topic. Everybody's
I don't know.
like-
We have lots of opinions on this one. Go ahead, Joe.
No. And so the statistic isn't right. So there's probably, which is opening my eyes, and this is the beauty of the show, is that I didn't have this thought pattern at all until this conversation. And I was listening to you, and it was really irritating me at first because it doesn't.
saw it.
It doesn't. Right? Like, but I was just like, you know. But I was listening
was a
because.
Wine talking, I
No,
think.
no. You know, I'm a wee bit older, so.
I'm a wee bit younger.
Yeah.
So good.
I like that.
Whoa.
I saw it.
Whoa. Whoa. This is cool.
that
This
could
is so
go
cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's good, Alex. I like that. I'm gonna
But-
take that.
but
Marriage.
the realization.
Like I said, the wine talking.
I think.
Let's get the
Joy's
point.
talking.
Oh,
Joy's
go ahead,
talking.
Joy. Go ahead, Joy.
The realization that I had to actually listen to what you were saying because some of it was making sense. And so I had to look at my own patterns and my complacency of entertaining that there is anything different in my world of perception, and looking at how you viewed things, as uncomfortable as it was. And the uncomfortableness is what people don't like. People don't like change, even if it's good for them. This is change.
I love that you said that because that's the whole reason he feels that way. Is because he was uncomfortable with the other. So I love that. I have some more comments to read.
Do I deserve one?
Yeah,
sure,
sure.
let's
Let's do it.
Definitely.
I really
Some
wanted
more
one
stuff
today.
like that.
We're gonna read some comments real quick, and we'll be right back. Oh, here you go. So Virgil, thanks for tuning in, bud. He's been on the show several times. Virgil Robinson. Americans have set themselves up to be an instant gratification type culture and mindset. I completely agree with that. We grow tired and bored after short periods. Half of marriages fail in the U.S. Why bother unless it's for legal and financial benefit? Unless folks marry for religious reasons, there's no reason to bother to go there. And I think that's a really good point.
Then why
Thank
do
you,
you
Virgil.
think?
I think
Melissa, thank you.
I think that's interesting because there are a lot of people who treat a marriage instead of being like for love as a business deal. There are a
Well,
lot of
yeah.
people who do that.
Yeah, well, that's why we have, you know,
I work at Hillsborough Diamonds.
what's the word I'm looking for? A contract.
Contract.
What do they call it? What's the contract called?
I have no idea.
A contract.
No, where you can't sue somebody, get
Agreement?
half.
An agreement?
No.
Prenuptial.
Prenuptial agreement. So that is
That
entering
contract
into
Right, so-
trumps
something
the
like
other
that.
I
contract.
work at Hillsborough Diamonds. I sell engagement rings on a daily basis.
Oh, wow.
So as you sell lives.
That must
She
be
makes a
super
living off it.
enjoyable.
People are getting married
especially
still.
with this topic
Yeah.
of, like,
Hey, that's awesome.
They are. See,
It's
Mel-
interesting.
Melissa comes on to say,
It's not.
support your local artists. Most definitely.
Yes.
That's us.
Big
All of
yes.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Cheers.
Melissa.
Gosh,
Vincent Fink.
please.
Marriage takes sacrifice. Most people are too selfish to do that nowadays. When you can find just another person online at bars, events, etc., everything or everyone wants to upgrade. When we are told by the media that you can only have it, or you can have it all, and we deserve it, this is not true. Older generations are more realistic about that.
True.
They give and take the imperfections of others and learning to accept them.
Kudos,
Vincent,
Vincent.
great
Rocks.
point. I love that. I was actually talking about that earlier today about how this generation or this time period is just so selfish. It is all about me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I support artists. I mean, I work
You're
almost
amazing.
free,
You're amazing.
40 hours a week for other people, and I
Everybody.
bring people on like this. I throw shows, and I have gotten slack, believe it or not. Like, you know, people come to me with like, hey, this isn't good enough. And I'm like, hey man, this is what it is. But like, that's the mentality that they're going around everyone into relationships,
Self-entitlement.
the entitlement, and just kind of, hey, look, I'm the best thing out there, right? And you guys gotta come up to my standards. Thank you, Fink. What do you guys think about it? I mean, do you think that's a problem?
I think
really
it's a
agree.
serious problem. I
Yeah,
think
oh,
you're
yeah.
right, and you have to be really careful because when you are in
I
service,
think it has
that's the
to come back
best
to your
thing
thing. The
to
instant
do.
gratification
But you
thing.
but when others, but you have to have discernment and have people around you that feed you and don't take away. And that's part of the artist community that I love so much is that I find more of that fill.
Absolutely.
than
Why?
I
I
do
mean,
I like
anywhere
that.
else in life.
I've been in the male
Feed you.
dominated industry for a long time.
Right here, I
Right.
get that every
We
Wednesday
feed
night when I go
you.
to discussions, and I just feel the love.
Oh yeah, I love discussions. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't say it too many times. We're gonna come. That's art. So
Word.
I
We
can't
appreciate
like so. What were you saying just before that? The
Oh,
wine.
don't remember.
All right, so Virgil
I
has
like that.
Virgil has a question for us. Thanks, Virgil. He says, "How many of y'all on this panel have been married?" Great question. One, I've been a month from being married, if that counts. I was with her 7 years.
Same here.
Yeah, I
One
know
month
that.
before the
Yeah,
wedding.
we've gone through this before.
Yeah,
Mostly
yeah.
it's after like midnight, but that's cool.
What's that mean?
We were drunk.
No, everybody
Oh, we were.
A month. You
Ew,
just-
ew.
This is good stuff.
I like the
I heard
everybody's
that
like
Reaction.
I would-
the
I would
online
like-
was crazy.
Oh,
I'll just
No.
say this: I would like to be married again.
I think I'd try it again.
So here's the thing: the word marriage does go with like a contract, and the reason why this question is
I kind of like that.
the decline of marriage is because that's a census thing from the government that's telling us there's not as much
Oh, I
love,
love
I'm gonna go
that.
back
not
to
as
what
much
you said.
love, and
I'm
so
gonna go
there
back.
is a lot of love. It's just not recorded anymore.
If you
by
have a
the
commitment,
government.
none of these things are going to
I mean-
bother you.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're going to be in, you're going to be perfectly fine in your own, and you're going to find someone that makes you a better person. You make them a better person. You make a daily decision to make each other better. And what Vincent was saying is make that sacrifice. And none of the shit really matters.
I agree with Vince. I think that, I mean, you just have to
have to make
sacrifice
that
some.
choice.
Well,
Exactly.
hold
It's
on,
the-
time out, time out.
Ooh, we all got some. I'm gonna go over you first, and we're gonna come
Yeah,
back this
look at
way.
the
But I
guys
think-
cringing.
I think it's the same, like whether you're married or not.
They're
And
like
maybe
that.
that's because like I'm a little bit younger, or maybe not, because like I still think like, you know, being married as like, you know, a very sacred thing. Like of course like one day it would be awesome to be married, but then again it's also like if not then that's okay too.
Yes.
Like it's not like I need to be married, and it's also like it's not the most important thing in a relationship. Like if you connect with somebody, because the reason you're like with somebody is because you like to be with them.
So you don't have to be married.
So you don't need a contract to be with them. You're just gonna be with them.
That's kind of
like
a new thing. I don't know if you guys agree with that. That
I'm still
culture,
weirded out by it, but I'm
that
listening.
culture is a new thing because before you needed kids to work your land. I mean, like if you go back,
that's true.
I mean that was the thing. You needed to have an ongoing. You know,
Yes,
you had
that was the deal.
Yeah,
That was,
you know, like, it was your obligation.
That's more of like a business deal.
And it is. It comes
more.
right back to the business, and
And
probably why the government got involved because you can't just go run around like
well, so
marrying everybody, right?
Guys are
Taxes
about
too.
logistics and the practicality part of it, and we're more emotional, and we're in those. That's part of the balance, and that's part of the beauty of it. You guys lay the foundation. Let us have our emotional things, and it's.
I think what I want to kind of rephrase what you're saying. It is like that, but it doesn't have to do with your gender. Because I know you, and I don't think that you think all women are that way and men are that way.
You're right.
I think that.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a
personal.
generalization.
It's a personal. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I just want to
I'm
clarify
still.
what you're saying.
I'm warming. Yes, and then this is where I am embracing.
I think men aren't allowed to be emotional enough. I think men
I
aren't
completely
allowed
agree
to
with
cry.
that. Yeah, oh, no. I
Well,
can't show
because we've
emotion
been
to
told
somebody.
that.
Men aren't allowed to say I love you.
Stop it.
I love you, Chris.
Oh,
You're fucking awesome.
I love you too, Alex.
Like,
Yes.
you know how strange that is for people? Like,
Oh,
Oh, he
another
did?
bomb he's got over there.
Oh, he's already
I'm
got
sorry.
it.
I'm
He's
sorry,
holding
Miss
it.
Sailor.
And we're strong.
Unlimited
I'm just gonna keep
bombs.
this
And
thing.
I didn't even notice. I didn't
hear it either.
I'm sorry I get passionate, but like, and I do because this
But
guy
we're
has been
strong and
amazing
capable
from
at
the
the
moment I
same
met
time.
him.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
yeah,
So.
We were being strong and capable while y'all were
Well,
bonding.
I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
saw that.
So we
Yes.
just,
I tried.
There's a divide in the room. Can you feel it?
This is cool.
I don't
like
think about it. I feel
I like it.
connected.
No, I'm just saying
Yeah.
we just have opposing views. But that's why we do the show is because we bring together opposing views and we connect over wine, we connect over art and music, and we show people right that it's okay to disagree with people
And change your
and
mind.
change minds. Like
I like it.
I actually like what you were saying there a lot, and not that I'm gonna say that I'm gonna go poly right now, but like I absolutely think that I was that at that point for a while.
Just
And I think people change, and I think that you might be at a point in your life where that's acceptable, and I think that I was at a point before that. I don't know that everybody here
it's
has.
all good. It's
I mean,
all.
were we all in high school once? I don't know. I mean, I did a lot of that in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I mean, a
What are
lot
you
of
talking
connecting
about?
with girls. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Like, it was just
right.
like,
Of course.
like there was no monogamy. It was like it was just a
No,
thing.
it was,
Like,
yeah, it was high school.
Yeah, it's high school. I mean,
So the
that's
thing
that's
is-
just the culture in almost all your high schools. I'm just
High school.
saying.
You don't want to know the culture now.
Well, high school never
Oh.
ends.
But
Actually, we do. That's what we
If-
do.
Dude.
Was it the best years of your life, too?
marriage is declining, then high
Marriage.
school doesn't
I'm
end.
sorry.
Marriage. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, we
I
got
love it.
wine. I'm
sorry.
so slacking on the wine.
Okay.
Look at this. I want a screenshot.
Look.
Screenshot it.
No men needed to pour our
Screenshot
wine.
now.
Do you want some of that?
Ah, see, this is what marriage is about. The women are going back. Oh, no.
So we are 7 minutes from the end. We're 4. Oh,
Took
guys,
control.
let's do it. We're gonna go live after this on Instagram, so tune in. All right, so
Hold on, we're not live?
on Instagram, we were never live this whole time.
Alex is like,
Did you press
"You-"
play? Did you press play?
He's like, I'm about to give you the F bomb.
Oh, man.
He's
I'm
holding your rock.
trying.
What you got?
He's holding
Uh,
that
I was
rock.
reading his tattoo.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, you're good. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to
I've got a
call
couple
you
of
out
them.
there. I think it's like I think it's a whole back to marriage and decline. I think that it's a whole gamut of things. You guys
It
agree
is.
with that?
It is.
It is a
It's
whole gamut
a
of things.
combination.
And I think that if you guys give me we're at 5 minutes left, so it's, 5 of us. Give me the closing thoughts if you think, it can be, and how you think it can be fixed. Like in 1 minute, give me how you think it can be fixed. Just something real quick.
Okay, well,
Be brilliant.
I still feel the
Be
same
brilliant.
way.
Yeah.
I still feel the way about
I will.
my
I will.
first
I will.
statement. That I still feel that, You know, it's on the decline for the same reason that dating is on the decline. And also because a lot of our generation has lived through a divorce or like a broken family. But I don't think it's necessarily a problem that needs to be fixed, actually. I think it's kind of like,
I love that.
it's the way it is, and then it's
Good
like...
call.
You get a ching ching.
Ching, ching, ching.
Oh my gosh.
Ching,
You
ching.
get-
It's a clickable moment.
Ching,
I get in
ching.
trouble for that all the
Ching,
time.
ching, ching, ching.
All right, John. Closing thoughts, buddy. What do you think?
Ready?
How
Ready?
you gonna
Ready?
fix
I
it?
got one.
You
I got
wanna
one.
fix it?
Don't get married.
Screw
Just be
you.
in love.
That's it, though.
Just,
Yeah.
just find love.
Yeah.
All over the place.
And then if you want to get
be in
married-
love all over the place. Don't get married.
Oh God, I need an open mind.
It's a contract. Who needs contracts anymore these days?
Everybody
All right.
needs a
What
contract.
about you, Joy? What do you think?
Not a
My
paper
fabric
one.
has been torn.
Reality is gone.
Well,
Shred that contract.
You already-
It's just really.
that's why I think I wanted to talk about it. That's why I kind of jumped on it. Is that I wanted to get other people's thoughts on it because I don't know, and,
Alright.
I don't have a real decision on
You're
it.
coming out of this a little different, huh?
Yeah.
That's the point. I love that.
Yeah.
Man, I love these feelings. We had a couple other shows that had this moment. Big time. Go ahead. What do you think? You think we can
Oh,
fix
this is
it?
gonna
No,
be
you don't
deep.
even like it, all right?
This is gonna be
No, I just
It's gonna be deep.
think it was really beautiful of you saying I don't know. And I think that's the hardest thing for people nowadays is to say I don't know. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I can handle right now.
It's all too
And
much.
I have a lot of thoughts, obviously, ADD.
Which one?
But
Why?
what I'd just really like to highlight is it's really respect and communication. And this is why we
That's how you
gather
fix it.
artists and
Yeah.
like-minded people is to communicate. And I think the more that people are loving and respectful and openly communicative of each other, that the more people will be open and loving and respectful and communicative of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like as individuals, it's like our personal choice whether we do that or not. And
Yes.
And
Yeah.
who we do it with.
Yes.
Yeah. All right,
And nobody
cool.
has to tell you anything else.
Yes.
Or, how to do
You
it.
guys know my thoughts. Just take the government's role out of it and let people do their thing through the church.
Right.
If they're religious, that's on them and
How
that's
does
their
that
thing.
happen? How do you make that happen?
How do you make that happen? You
Uh,
say, look, you have no more reign over marriage. Nothing. You got nothing. And then, so there's no more tax breaks. There's no more none of that. Right?
Yeah.
And we bring
Well-
everybody to the same playing field on that aspect.
Just give it to the contract.
Well, that's
Just
what
give
I'm
it to the
well,
contract.
that's-
If you're
but
married,
this-
if you
I
love
think
somebody,
it's-
then
it's
you don't
an
have to
individual
prove it
case
by a
for
marriage.
every
You
person.
don't have to do it.
you have to be able to talk to your
You don't have
partner.
to-
What
you
are we?
convinced me of that
You
much.
don't have to prove it. You don't have to prove it at all.
Yeah.
You don't have to. The marriage thing, and I'll go back to why this topic is marriage is in decline is because it's a census thing, and so
It is
You
a
don't-
census
you don't
thing.
have
You're
to-
completely right. Is it really, or is it the government telling us to marry
get
more?
married. Well,
Yeah.
that's the good old American dream.
Saying,
you
look,
know?
it's coming
So-
down. You guys
They
just
would
start
do
getting
that to
married.
us?
Can't we just
Marriage.
get along?
Marriage.
That's it.
Marriage.
I'm gonna get this.
So-
Oh, that one's different. That one's like a button.
Which one? I
We
mean,
have like
you
a
know,
twisty.
This one's
On
very
the
twisted. Thanks, y'all, for tuning into the Whine Wine Show. We are here today. We are here
So we have
every
smile cover.
Thursday at 7.
should we win?
We have a Friday edition that goes on. It has mostly wine. They talk about, they get more into the facts about stuff. They're more articulate, I would have to say. I really think so.
Articulate.
They kind of, we're a
No
little bit
wonder
more
I haven't-
emotional.
We're
We have,
passionate.
yeah.
Alex, not allowed.
It's cool. I love our show. I love their show. It's just we have two different shows. Yeah. So be sure to tune in and check that one out too. And be sure to tune into everybody's webpage here. So I'm gonna make sure that they kind of get their last little plug on the way out. But make sure you. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, after party. It's gonna be fun tonight. Live Instagram. So Why No Wine on Instagram. At the Why No or at Why No Wine. So follow us up. And the YouTube channel, obviously, for our cutouts. So what we do with these cutouts, we remaster them. They look amazing. They sound much better than what you saw today, because you can't switch it mid-show and back. So what we do is we just make sure that they have something to promote their art.
I'm buying your music.
Yeah, I probably will buy some myself. I hope you guys do as well. make sure you look at their pages and support your local artists, your art scene. We have shows going on all the time. I'll do my plug. Texas Music and Art,
Gotcha.
right?
Got it.
And artist collaboration, throwing shows up to like 7 weekly at least. Oh my gosh! So I got open mics all over town. Avant Garden, Lucky Dogs Pub.
You just look at his
we have-
page and you'll
yeah.
be well connected to the art scene.
Let's see
period.
here, like we have the Whine Wine show today. I have an artist social coming up at the 45 Art Center. She's going to be out here
They're
next
amazing.
week, I think. Oh, maybe next month.
Love
I'm not
those
sure.
guys.
45 Art Center is amazing. We have the Lake Houston Art to Farm Market, which I think we might start going out and interviewing artists during the show, during the market. So make sure you guys come out there and check us out live if we do that. But it is in the works, hopefully. I'm gonna make it happen. Watch me. And so, closing thoughts, real guys. Just tell me how to find you, real quick.
Okay, my name's Anna Carina. I have a website, annacarina.com.
I'm putting up your URL.
Cool.
Okay, it's ANACARINA.
It's on the
my
screen,
first name, last name,
And it'll
Carina.
be in the comments.
Okay, ACUNA, and then social media is the same, Anna Carina Cunha, and I have music available on Spotify, Apple Music, and Google Play.
Yes.
Anna
Beautiful
Karina,
music.
Anna Karina.
You're making fun of me because I couldn't get my name out. Just go ahead.
Yeah,
I just
John
wanted to
is
say
down,
it so
dude.
bad, Anna Karina.
If you
Acuna
haven't
Matata.
seen it, yeah, and it's on this. And
I get her t-shirt.
Makina, what?
No.
Anna Makina, how many trees?
How many trees?
You haven't gotten it yet. That's how you.
I
find
can't
it,
believe you
so.
haven't repped the glass box yet.
I haven't repped the glass box. You can find me a lot at the patio on Richmond.
There you go. Patio
a lot. The
and
patio
pit
on
room
Richmond,
right
the
next
pit
door.
room, the
barbecue
barbecue,
place.
beers,
Crawfish.
Oh, shit.
art on
Music.
Sundays. Mostly Sundays. We'll
Yeah.
probably be out there.
Got a
Or
big
I'll be
glass
out there.
truck full of art. Come
Or
on
you
and have a
can-
good time.
Yeah.
I'm out there a lot.
He's pitching me really well.
I'm better at it than you. I've been doing it a little longer. I just saw. So I will keep
learned.
prodding him. Hey
I'm
man,
so-
talk about your stuff. Yeah? All right, man. Down Money Trees. Find him on Instagram, online. Jonathan.
Thank you,
Dow.
guys.
No problem. Joy, how do we find you?
They
real quick?
bring you money.
Yes.
That's right. Very
We'll
prosperous.
rub it for luck.
Oh, you're gonna be able to find me in like 1,000 different ways soon. But right now, Facebook, Facebook, Instagram. I'm there. I'm coming back. Just wait. Just look for Joy Beckler.
We all need a
Google
break
it.
from that stuff. I'm sorry. I'm looking at a break myself. Go ahead.
Once again, thanks again so
Oh,
much
no
for
problem.
having us
No
out.
problem. Thank you
Yes.
all you.
Love
Thank
y'all.
you.
If you wanna
Alexander
on,
Van Fleet.
Message the show.
How do you say your
message
last name?
Van Fleet, VAN,
Van
separate
Fleet.
word,
Like
FLEET.
Like
It's
that.
actually a Dutch last name.
It sounds like a.
I'm a little bit of everything.
Sounds like
but-
an
It's
RV.
hard to-
Alexander Van Fleet. Best way to reach me, contact me. Facebook, facebook.com/AVF Images. Instagram is AVF Images, coming soon. Odd Child Design. And Pleasant Street Printing Co. Be on the lookout for that. We'll be out there soon. All over Houston, all over the nightlife scene. Love our local scene right now. So much love for everybody watching right now. Y'all
Thank
are
you
amazing.
for tuning in, everybody. Really appreciate it.
And yeah, just keep an eye out for that stuff.
And we'll see you next week. I'm Chris with Texas Music and Art, hosting the Whine No Wine Show Artist Edition. Find me at CM Art. That's my Facebook. All right,
Good
guys.
clink.
Yeah, you guys want to do one more toast?
Yes.
tonight?
Cheers.
Yes.
No,
Cheers to a
he's
great
first.
hour. To a great
Thank
hour.
you.
To a great conversation. 'Cause
Civil
that was
war.
better than last time.